You are starting your day off on the wrong foot.
Take a look at how you set your day up, because how you set it up is how it ends up.
Part of your problem with your routine is you don't have one. Why is a morning routine critical for your mindset? How you wake up has a scientifically proven impact on your ability to focus, on your happiness, and on your productivity all day.
I believe that how you start your day dictates how the day goes.
It will change your life. Let me explain to you why the snooze button is such a dangerous thing to do for your productivity, your happiness, your mindsets, your ability to be a deliberate thinker, your ability to be in control of your life. And look, I know that at least 65% of adults hit the snooze button every single morning. So the reason why I don't want you to ever hit the snooze button, and why this is so important if you want to be in control of your mindset, of your happiness, of your mental health state, is because of the science of sleep. So you and I sleep in cycles. And the reason why we sleep, there's a lot of reasons why we sleep, but there's one main reason. Obviously, we fall asleep because our body needs to rest and rejuvenate. But there's another major reason for why we sleep, and it has to do with brain function. When you sleep, when you and I are falling asleep, half of our brain is allocated to running our body functions. The other half of our brain is able to basically just shut off and not really work. And while you and I are sleeping, do you know what your brain is busy doing? Your brain is busy taking all of the memories and things that happened to you today, and it is returning those memories and storing them in your brain, almost like returning books to a giant library system. If you didn't sleep every night, you would have no memories. One of the main reasons why we sleep is because by resting and allowing part of your brain to shut down for a while, your mind has the ability to store all of your memories from today. You wouldn't have any memories if you didn't sleep every night. And so part of the reason why sleep's so critical has to do with your brain function. It has to do with your cognitive abilities. And so the way that sleep works is we fall asleep. We sleep in cycles of about 75 to 90 minutes, and then we start another one. And we go into another sleep cycle for 75 to 90 minutes. And then we typically start another one, and we start another sleep cycle that goes 75 to 90 minutes. And after 2 or 3 sleep cycles, or heck, if you're lucky, 4 of them, your body and brain go into a mode where for about 2 hours, your brain just goes into a state where it's getting ready to wake up. So for those of you that wake up naturally before an alarm goes off, or the alarm goes off and you've had anywhere from 6 hours plus of sleep, your mind is now in a state, it's not in a sleep cycle, where it is ready to wake up. It is ready to start the day. It is ready to be deliberate. If you wake up in that state and then you reach over and hit the snooze button and you doze off for 9 to 15 minutes, what do you suppose your brain starts again? If you're thinking a sleep cycle, you'd be absolutely right. And how long does a sleep cycle last? A sleep cycle lasts 75 to 90 minutes. So you drift off into a sleep cycle, your brain does, which lasts 75 to 90 minutes. All of a sudden, the alarm goes off 9 to 15 minutes later. Your brain is in a sleep cycle. You are in a medical, neurological state right now that scientists call sleep inertia. It means that by falling into a sleep cycle and waking yourself up 9 to 15 minutes in it, the cortic region of your brain is now trapped in a sleep cycle. And do you realize it takes your brain, once you're awake, 4 hours to shake itself loose of the state of sleep inertia? Why is sleep inertia a bad thing? Studies prove that when you're in a state of sleep inertia, it impacts your speed of processing, it impacts your ability to focus, it impacts your ability to do any kind of strategic thinking. So for you, if you're a chronic snoozer like I used to be, and you sleep and then the alarm goes off, then you hit snooze, then you drift into a sleep cycle, then the alarm goes off, then you hit snooze, then you drift into a sleep cycle, and then the alarm goes off and you get up, Your brain, you know how you say when you're a snoozer, you're always like, I didn't get any sleep, and you feel so groggy and tired, and you keep saying, I didn't get enough sleep last night. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Guess what? Has nothing to do with how much sleep you got. It has to do with the fact that when the alarm went off, instead of getting up, you started another sleep cycle. And then when the alarm went off 15 minutes later, you woke yourself up, and now your brain is trapped in a sleep cycle. You're in a state of sleep inertia. It has nothing to do with how much sleep you got. It has everything to do with how you woke up. You literally have screwed yourself over. And so here's the deal. Here's one more piece of proof I can give you. You know how on the weekends or on a day that you're not working, the alarm goes off and you decide, oh, I'm just going to turn the alarm off and I'm going to snooze for a minute. You don't turn on the snooze button. You just turn the alarm off. Have you ever noticed when you go back to sleep on your own, how long do you normally drift off of sleep for? An hour to 2 hours. That's because your brain is executing a sleep cycle. You do it naturally. You've had that experience before, haven't you? Where you've turned off the alarm, drifted back to sleep, and holy cow, you sleep for like 90 minutes. That's a sleep cycle. So that's why I never want you to hit the snooze button. Because when you hit the snooze button, you force yourself into a sleep cycle, you wake yourself up in the middle of it, and then the first 4 hours of the day, you are battling sleep inertia. There's only one way to shock yourself out of sleep inertia, and that's to step in a cold shower. So if you ever have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning when you probably are in the middle of a sleep cycle, just step in a cold shower. That'll shock your brain awake, and you'll be out of a state of sleep inertia. If you keep hitting the snooze button, I am going to tell you something. It's going to make your anxiety worse. It's going to make your depression heavier. It's going to make your attitude negative. It's going to make your ability to focus harder. It's going to make your ability to be deliberate harder. And the simple solution is to force yourself out of bed.
Here's what I do specifically to help myself stay focused. First things first, when I wake up in the morning, I do not sleep next to my phone. The reason why I don't sleep next to my phone is because if you sleep next to it or use it as your alarm, your tendency is to look at it while you're in bed. That means that you're checking email before you've even thought about what your priorities are. Do not do that. That's tip number one. Tip number two, I have a pad of Post-it notes. Yes, Post-it notes next to my sink in my bathroom. Why? Well, because after I brush my teeth, haven't looked at my phone yet, I take a Post-it note out and I write the 3 things I need to focus on today. And then you know what I do with it? I stick it on the back of my phone. Now, why would I do that? Because I have my phone with me all the time. And so if it's on the back of my phone, I'm going to get a visual cue to remind me and keep it top of mind so I stay focused on it. Third thing that I do, it's a little trick I call 30 before 7:30. What that means, I spend 30 minutes before 7:30 a.m. just focused on getting my day organized and getting a few of the things that are my top priorities either finished or further down the field. So that's 30 minutes before 7:30 a.m. That's time for me. If you utilize those 3 things, don't sleep with your phone. Right after you brush your teeth, write out your 3 priorities and stick it on the back of your phone just like this, and spend 30 minutes before 7:30 for yourself. I promise you, you'll be shocked at how much more focused you are and you feel.
If you struggle like me to sit down every morning, close your eyes, and meditate, I've got some great news for you. That's not the only form of meditation. The traditional form of meditation, crisscross applesauce, it's not the only way to practice mindfulness. There are 3 things you can do to find moments of meditation throughout your day. And if you do them consistently, it's going to have really similar benefits. Number 1, hobbies that you enjoy can be a moment of meditation. If they're active hobbies where you're strictly focused on the task at hand while you're doing something, like adult coloring books, cooking, knitting, going for a run, walking in the woods without listening to anything. Believe it or not, research even shows that Tetris is a powerful form of meditation. What doesn't count is sitting passively watching TV, but hobbies that focus your mind on a task creates moments of meditation. Now, a second form of practicing a moment of meditation is to simply laser focus in on some detail in the present moment. For example, pull your attention to the present moment and focus on something around you, like holding a cup of coffee and noticing how warm it is in your hands. Or I do this all the time. I stand in line at a grocery store and I pay attention to my breathing and I clench my stomach. Or you could eat a handful of almonds, one by one, and notice how each singular almond tastes different from the others. Taking a moment of meditation through the day is a simple way to train your mind to come back to the present moment. And here's a third way that you can practice being mindful without meditating. Create a positive trigger that brings your attention to the present moment. It could be every time I walk through a doorway, I'm going to take a deep breath. You might want to set an alarm on your phone that goes off and says, stay in the moment. You want to know my trigger? Whenever I catch myself slouching, I realize I'm slouching and I take a minute and I pull my shoulders back and I roll my neck and I take a deep belly breath and I'm right back in the moment. So stop beating yourself up for not being a monk or a yoga instructor or a meditation guru and give yourself a break. Just practice moments of meditation. I believe with all of my heart and being that every man, woman, child, person, grandparent, everybody should infuse their days with habits of celebration and self-confidence. And the fastest and easiest and most science-backed way to quickly start to change how you see yourself is by adopting a simple habit of high-fiving your reflection in the mirror every single morning. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. Are you serious, Mel Robbins? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I know it sounds dumb. But the reason why your first instinct when you think about waking up, whether you're in your robe or your underwear, or your PJs or your birthday suit, and walking into that bathroom and having a moment with yourself and raising your hand and high-fiving yourself, is because your self-confidence is in the gutter. You believe some garbage about yourself. You think you're a bad person, or you're unworthy, or you're ugly, or nobody likes you. Or how about this one? This was the story of my life. I have f***ed up my life so badly, I might as well just flush it down the toilet. You have some narrative in your mind that is so negative that when you look in the mirror, you see somebody worth trashing. You see what's wrong. You pick apart your appearance. And I want to reverse that, because here's the deal about self-confidence. Self-confidence begins with you. You realize the word self is in there, right? I can't give you confidence. I can give you a little boost. I can give you tools. I can encourage you. But confidence is forged in fire. It's something that's within you. And here's the thing I want you to realize about confidence. You are a confident person. That's why you miss feeling that way. You can only miss what you know. You've just been blocked from the feeling of it. And wherever you are right now in your life, I'm telling you, confidence is in there. You just got to figure out how to tap into it. And you've been building confidence all along, by the way. Every time that you have fallen on your face, or you've tried something and failed, or you've gone out and thought you found the love of your life, and then your heart's broken, and then you pick yourself up again, and then you dust yourself. You're building confidence the entire time, because confidence is not built on the high days. Confidence is built on the low ones. Confidence is built when you are struggling. Because when you see yourself go for something and fall, when you see yourself try and get knocked down, when you see yourself stand back up after getting abused or traumatized or discriminated against and moving ahead, you are building this reserve within yourself where you know you can rely on yourself. You know you can face hard things and you can keep moving forward. You know you have your own back. So it's in there. Your life has been helping you build it. Now you got to just dig in and tap into it and use it to shut that critic up in your head. So the way you're going to do that is every morning, I'm not kidding, you're going to raise your hand in the mirror and high five yourself. Look at how many people are doing this. You're not the only one. For 5 mornings in a row, I want you to high five yourself. And when you do this, I want you to use the hashtag high five challenge. You know what's happening when you raise your hand up in the mirror? You are taking the lifetime positive association that you have with cheering for other people, believing in other people, celebrating other people, saying, let's go to other people. And you are marrying that positive association with your reflection. It is impossible to raise your hand in the mirror and go, I suck. You can't do it because your brain and the subconscious sees this and thinks, let's go. I love you. I believe in you. And when you do this every single morning, something incredible happens. First of all, you're not going to leave your bathroom feeling like you're dragging a boulder. You're going to leave there feeling like the wind's at your back. Secondly, you're going to have spent the morning, the first thing in the morning, by taking a moment and being with yourself. And not seeing your face and picking yourself apart, but actually seeing the person that's underneath the skin, the soul that's behind the face. You are going to shut the critic up. You're going to silence your to-do list. And when you raise your hand like this, it also prompts you to think about the game you're playing. So now you got a moment to be like, oh yeah, yay me. I'm still here. I can make today a good day.
Answer this question. What do I need to give myself today? You see, I think a lot of us look to other people for the things that we need. And if you really want to learn how to love yourself, if you really want to make today a great day, give yourself what you need. Today, for me, that means I need an hour to myself this morning to get on the yoga mat and move my body because it makes me feel strong and healthy and grateful. Another thing that I need is I need to get outside. I've been working way too much and I feel like I am in a Zoom traffic jam that I can't break free of and I want to get outside. What do you need to give yourself today? Is it time to paint, write, journal? Do you need to give yourself a healthy meal? Do you need to give yourself kind words? Do you need to give yourself time to work on your resume or your next chapter? Do you need to give yourself time to heal? Whatever it is that you need to make today great, give it to yourself. That's how you make it a great day.
I'd like to take some questions real quick about mindset, about the mindset morning routine connection, about the cell phone, or about anything related to mindset reset. Danielle from Facebook, I love routines as well, but what if you let go of your routine? Can you still embrace yourself and the day? I'm not sure I understand the question. I love routines as well. I think that yes, you can, if what you're basically saying is you have a morning where you don't do your normal routine and now it's noon and you realize, my gosh, I've spent the morning in a negative mindset. Can you catch yourself? Absolutely. You absolutely at any moment during the day can catch negative beliefs. You can catch limiting beliefs. You can catch yourself when you default to the negative things that you've trained yourself to think. And you can 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in 5 seconds flat. You can switch to a more positive belief. Absolutely. You can change your attitude like that. No question. You can put the force fields up if you feel yourself getting sucked into somebody else's drama. What I'm trying to tell you is that while that's possible, and while you should do that all day, particularly as you are practicing the skill of having a positive mind, I am here to tell you, based on personal experience, that when you start to own your morning, and when you start to take your morning routine seriously as a habit that you develop that contributes to your mindset and your happiness and your sense of control, it will change your life. If you're concerned about anxiety, having a morning routine that I'm going to walk you through step by step this entire week, this is key to curing yourself of anxiety. And it begins the night before. So Betsy asked, is it better to prep the night before? Absolutely. So the night before, I always plug my phone into the kitchen, or I plug it into my closet. I turn off the alerts on my text messages. I turn off the buzzing, and I leave the ringer on in case there's some kind of emergency. My kids know that they should call me if they need to reach me. We have a daughter who's in college, and kids are all over the place these days. My business partner knows, call me if you need to reach me. Do not text me. And that one habit has changed my mindset for the better. It's changed my life for the better, because when I wake up in the morning, I actually get out of bed. I don't scroll through my phone. And because my phone is nowhere near me, I don't even reach for it. I spend the first 30 minutes to an hour of my day before I even look at my phone. And it has been a game changer, both in my ability to cure my anxiety and in my ability to be deliberate about what I want, A, to be thinking about, and B, what I want to be focused on for this day. Tatiana on Instagram, I switch my phone to airplane mode or turn it off completely for the night. Is this okay or the equivalent? It's definitely okay, but I don't want it near your bed, because I don't even want you tempted to reach for this thing and to start scrolling through it. We live in a moment of time, here comes my father, where we need to have major boundaries with our phone. This right here, it's supposed to be a tool, but we have become the tool. Advertisers know that they can make money on your attention. So when you look at this, whether you're looking at your email or you're looking at Facebook or you're looking at social media, you are giving the world your most precious commodity, which is your attention. And so you're going to hear me hammer the fact that boundaries with this, essential for your mindset, essential for your happiness, essential for your success. Vicky from Twitter, why is morning routine so important? What 2 to 3 items should be a part of it? Why is the morning routine so important? Couple things. How you wake up has a scientifically proven impact on your ability to focus, on your happiness, and on your productivity all day. This is not something I've made up. This is well-established research. And I'm going to be explaining it to you in bite-sized pieces all week long. And so to preview it, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow morning. The 2 to 3 pieces of it are, for me, I wake up when the alarm goes off, and I'm going to explain the science why the snooze alarm is horrendous for your productivity. It actually impacts the way that your brain functions when you do it. We'll explain that in a training this week. I then get up, and for the first couple minutes of the day, I plan my day. And I have a particular process that I go through that leverages something from Harvard Business School called the progress principle. I have a mindfulness practice. That could be anything that you want. It could be gratitude journaling. It could be meditation. It could be 5 slow, deep breaths. It could be taking your dog outside for a walk. And then on mornings when I can, I have a micro exercise practice where I do planks for 5 minutes, or I do something to get my blood pumping on the mornings that I can. I do all that before I ever even look at my phone, because I put myself and my mindset first deliberately before I ever allow the world access to my mind. You do not want anybody to have access to what's going on up here until you've gotten deliberate about what you're thinking about first. So that's a preview, but I'm going to, as I promised, this was going to be bite-sized stuff. If you've already watched the first 10 minutes of this, you got the training for today, which is the powerful connection between your mindset and your morning routine. And your morning routine begins the night before, when you plug your phone outside of your bedroom and you go to bed without your phone anywhere near you. The other reason why that's important is we know based on research that the blue light on these things impacts your ability to fall into a deep sleep. Sleep is essential for you to have a healthy mindset. And also when you wake up, if this is next to you, 87% of adults sleep with their phones or next to their phones. And 33% of adults check email in the middle of the night. And so whether you're willing to admit that or not, we want to break your habit of giving the world access to your mind, and we want to make you more deliberate about how you are with your phone. And the reason why is it has a direct scientific researched impact on your mood and your mindset all day. I have time for just one or two more questions. If you have any other questions about this, seeing a ton of, but my phone is my alarm, I have kids. Do you see the excuses, everybody? What's more important? If you have kids, do exactly what I told you. Leave the ringer on. If your kids need you, they can call you. If your boss needs you, they can call you. And this is really important for your kids too. You know, there's a lot of research about kids and phones and how they're hugely addicted. And the thing about kids and phones, particularly phones in their bedroom when they're going to sleep at night, is that if you have teenagers are biologically hardwired to push away from their parents when they become teenagers. Their friends become their primary support group. They become the most important thing in their life. And kids feel an obligation to stay connected to their friends. And they feel an obligation that if I'm not available for my friends, you know, that makes me not a good friend. And so to help your kids, you need to draw the boundaries for them. You need to tell them that they can't have their phone in the bedroom. You need to have a charging station in the kitchen, and you need to model these very healthy and mandatory boundaries with technology, period. And so I get it. Your kids need to reach you. No problem. Plug it into the closet, plug it into the bathroom, turn the ringer on. If there's an emergency, they can call you. Yes, you can use your phone as your alarm. Plug it into the bathroom, plug it into the closet, plug it into the kitchen. Because if the alarm is going off outside of your bedroom or several paces away from your bed, guess what you're doing when the alarm goes off? You're getting up. And tomorrow, I'm going to explain the science behind why you need to get up when the alarm rings and why you should not hit the snooze alarm. I don't hit the snooze alarm because I understand the neurological impact that the act of snoozing has on your mindset, on your mood, and on your brain's ability to focus. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about tomorrow. The reason why you have to get up when the alarm rings. And it's not because it sounds like a good idea. It's because of the science behind how your brain works and what hitting the snooze button and drifting back to sleep for 15 minutes does to your mind. You're going to learn all about that tomorrow, and it is a game changer. So, Mandy and Danielle, do we have any other comments, questions, excuses? Give me the thumbs up if you're going to try this phone challenge. This is going to change your life. Try the phone challenge tonight. Give it one night. And I want you to notice as you do it, how drawn are you to your phone? How panicky are you that it's not near you? Do you feel anxious about it? When you wake up in the morning, are you immediately grabbing for it? I want you to notice the default mode that you have with this sucker right here. Because part of being deliberate and serious about being a healthy, happy, anxiety-free, positive, confident thinker is taking control and having boundaries between the world and your mind. And it's also having the assuredness that you can live without this thing. And I know there are many of you that already sleep without your phone. That's awesome. You're going to learn some other things this week as we go step by step through the morning routine. I also want to remind you, we love seeing your photos. So please continue to take photos of yourself doing the challenges. Show us your notebooks. We are featuring and celebrating you on our story on Facebook and Instagram all day long. Also, please, 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 in the comments, if you have questions, use the hashtag Mindset Reset. Our team and I are looking at those comments all day long, and we're answering your questions in the comments. And we also had such a tremendous response to the QA that we did yesterday. We'll include a link to the QA in the email that goes out today. But you can find all of this on YouTube, all of this on Facebook. It's there for you. for free forever. We're going to continue to do QAs throughout the training because we know that it was very powerful. Mandy and Danielle, do I have any other questions that you wanted me to answer? I'm just going to wait a second to hear. If you have any questions, let me look on Facebook. Any other ones on Instagram? Also still seeing a ton. Anything, Mandy, Danielle? Can anyone text me? What's happening? I don't see anything. You there? I think that's it then, because I'm not, maybe, okay. Linda, last one. So if you wake up 30 minutes to an hour before the alarm, you should stay up. Absolutely. If your body naturally wakes up 30 minutes to an hour before the alarm, that means your body is ready. Your mind is ready. And you should go ahead and get up and start your morning routine 1,000%.
Good morning. I'm talking quietly because my daughter's sleeping. I woke up this morning and I was feeling really anxious. And what that means for me is the second that I wake up, my heart is racing and I start feeling like something's wrong. And I know this feeling because I've had anxiety for decades. It doesn't come around that much anymore, but when it does, oof, it takes me right back. So I wanted to just grab the phone and show you what I do when I wake up feeling anxious. First of all, rule number 1, do not, under any circumstances, lay in bed if you wake up and you feel anxious about something. You have got to use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get up, get out of bed, get moving, because if you can get up, you can get going. If you can get going, you can get dressed. If you can get dressed, you can move your body. If you can move your body, you can then move your emotions. If you can move your emotions, you can then move your mind. If you can move your mind, you can move your mood. So one thing leads to another. Number 1, get up. But rule number 2 is remind yourself that you're okay. Talk back to the anxiety. Why was I feeling anxious? Well, I was feeling a little anxious because I'm out here in Los Angeles to move our daughter back into her sophomore year of college. And I'm going to miss her. I'm flying home today and I'm just sad. I'm sad that I'm leaving her. And all goodbyes, all transitions always bring up this sort of fear and this unsteadiness in me, because your anxiety is gonna get worse if you allow yourself to keep thinking the negative thought. I just kept saying, I'm safe, she's safe, we're okay. It's okay to be sad. You're gonna see her in a couple months. And the anxiety started to disappear. Third step, I want you to get your exercise clothes on. That's right, once you get up and you get going, get your exercise clothes on. The next thing you're gonna do, make your bed. I'm gonna do that as soon as I'm done making this video. She's still sleeping. I'll still make my side of the bed even though she's in that bed, because I make my bed for myself. It's a little promise I keep. When I make my bed, I give myself a gift because I will be lying down in it, and it has gives me a beautiful place to dream tonight. And even though I'm in a hotel right now, I'm still gonna make my bed because it's a habit. And habits are really amazing patterns to create in your life. And the thing about a good habit is it creates a solid foundation for you. So by making the bed, I am showing myself that the pattern that I normally go through is right here, even in a moment of anxiety. Now, what am I going to do after? I'm going to move my body. Now, I don't have a yoga mat in this hotel room. That's all right. I'm going to come right over here to this wood floor, and I'm going to do some yoga right here, because moving my body moves the anxiety out. And then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to move my mind. And this is the final thing. The way that I move my mind is I typically use the 5-second journal. But this morning, the way I'm going to move my mind is I'm going to do a brain dump. And I'm just going to pull out a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be fancy. I'm probably going to use this piece of paper right here. And I'm going to write down every single thing that is on my mind. You don't have to let anxiety hijack you.
you can meet those moments, whether those moments are moments when you wake up first thing in the morning and you feel anxious like I did this morning here in Los Angeles, or whether it's anxiety that comes at night, or the anxiety that sort of is your companion right now during the day. Anxiety is a normal part of life, and by having a simple process for meeting it and not reacting to it but responding to it, you will see a profound difference in your ability to move through your life and face the roadblocks and obstacles that life throws at you and just keep rolling down the highway. It's an amazing skill.
Setting a quitting time isn't something that I invented. It's something I stole from a professor at Caltech. And the setting a quitting time habit is so important. It leverages something called Parkinsons Law. Parkinsons Law is a phenomenon around time that basically says this: anything that you have to get done, you will get done in the amount of time that you give to it. So let me just ask you this. If you think about your to-do list, if you have 10 hours today to work on it, how long is it going to take you to get through it? 10 hours. If you have 10 minutes to get through the to-do list that you have, how long is it going to take you? 10 minutes. Because the things you need to do expand or contract according to how much time you have to give to it. And so what I want you to do right now, because part of your problem with your routine is you don't have one. You allow work to bleed into your evening. You allow work to just constantly show up whenever the email arrives. And you're the one that has to hit reset on your routine so that you don't allow your work to do that. So right now, I want you to set a quitting time. My night routine is very simple. Complete the day and leave no tasks that I have to finish in the morning. It's that's it. And so it's not necessarily that I have a specific order, but there are particular things that I do. Number one, totally set up the kids. So that means pack their lunches. It means get the backpacks ready if it's school season and get them by the door. It means if there's any forms that need to be filled out or printed or anything else, if they are printed, they are ready to go. So kids are handled. Second thing, I want the kitchen clean. I don't ever want to wake up in the morning and walk in there and see crap that I have to do. I don't want dishes in the sink. I don't want things on the counter. And so I make sure that the kitchen is clean, that the counters are cleared off, and that there is nothing I need to do in the kitchen because it will distract me in the morning. I will feel guilt. I will feel obligated to get that done. Third thing that I do is I tend to set out the stuff for breakfast. And the reason why I do that is because my kids will wake up at various times. And so if I've got that thing set up, I've just bought myself a couple more minutes of quiet in the morning before the parade of children come running down the stairs, starving and wanting breakfast. The other thing that I do is I go to my computer and I print out the day calendar for the day ahead. And then I take that printout and I take my notebook that has all of my travel and kind of everything that's laid out for the business that I run and my speaking schedule and stuff related to the kids, and I move it all to the kitchen. Now, why am I doing this? I'm doing this so that when I leave my bedroom in the morning and I walk into the kitchen to have 30 minutes of quiet time for myself, to get focused, to plan my priorities, everything's set. It's all been handled. There's no thinking involved. It's amazing. Then, once that's all handled, I turn off all the lights, I lock the front door. When I walk into my bedroom, the very first thing that I do, I set my alarm, and then I plug my phone in my closet. That is the single most important aspect of my evening routine. The importance of your morning routine. We have already covered the science around the way that your brain works. We have already discussed how you have a default network of neurons and neural pathways in your brain that filter the world. They allow what comes in and what comes out. We've talked about limiting beliefs. We've trained you on the power of being a deliberate thinker. We've trained you on how you think this instead of thinking that when you have very negative beliefs. And now we're in the portion of the program where we're talking about the power of your morning routine. Why is a morning routine critical for your mindset? The reason why your morning routine is critical for your mindset is a couple reasons. Number one, let's just think common sense. If you wake up and you feel horrible and you're in a bad mood and you pick up your phone or you turn on the news and the first inbound information that hits your brain is negative, or it triggers something in you emotionally that is negative, you are starting your day off on the wrong foot. And you might even have a habit that if you wake up and the day begins as a bad day, that you then spend the rest of your day convincing yourself that this entire day is a bad day. That is a major mistake. It's also not true because you get to choose how you view what's happening around you. And the second reason why your morning routine is critical is because the first 2 hours that your brain is awake are the best 2 hours for your brain all day. And so I believe that if you create a very powerful morning routine, and the one that I am recommending that you start off with, and then you make it your own, you add in things, you take away things that you don't use or that you're not going to like. But everything I'm recommending is based on the science around productivity, focus, happiness, the way that your mind is actually wired to work. And that's why I'm recommending everything that I've been recommending in the program. I will explain very briefly the steps of the morning routine, but if this is the first video you're watching, it's day 11. Go back to day 9, go back to day 10, where I really begin talking about the power of a morning routine, why it's important, and I explain the science in detail. For today's training, we're going to talk about the third step in your morning routine. So when you get to the third step, by this point, you have already woken up on time and gotten out of bed when the alarm rang. You didn't hit the snooze button. You've already turned off the alarm on your phone if you're using your phone for your alarm. You have not looked at your phone. You have not turned on the TV. You have not let any information from the outside world cross the threshold into your precious brain yet. Why? Well, the reason why is I believe that you and your dreams, they deserve 10 lousy minutes. In fact, I think they deserve an hour, but I'm just going to go with 10 minutes because I know that you can find 10 lousy minutes to focus on your dreams, to focus on becoming a deliberate thinker, to plan out your day, and to figure out what your priority is.
One of the things that I think you should always come back to first is take a look at how you set your day up, because how you set it up is how it ends up. How do I set my day up so that I'm practicing what I call simple discipline? Simple discipline is nothing more than making and keeping simple promises to yourself, repeating it every day. The way that you start to change the big things is you change the small things. Make tiny, teeny promises to yourself and then keep them. So how do you build simple discipline? Here are some core skills that I do every morning that have helped me. Number 1, I do not sleep with the phone. Number 2, when the alarm goes off on my phone, it's not near me, so I have to get my ass out of bed. I get up, I make my bed, I get moving, I get my exercise clothes on, I move my body, and then journal. I take 10 minutes to myself to plan my day. When I do that, my day is incredible. I believe that how you start your day dictates how the day goes. You should not just adopt somebody else's morning routine and expect it to work for you. You need to customize this. You are unique. I think about how do you come alive for yourself in the morning? What are the 5 senses? What's the first thing that you see when you wake up? For me, it's a painting that I manifested out of thin air. It reminds me that what you put your mind to and what you work toward, it will become a reality. I always light incense because it makes my senses and my nose come alive. I'm super mindful over what I taste first thing in the morning. My grandma always had vinegar in the morning with honey and hot water. I picked the one thing that matters to me today. And here's one final thing I do. I never leave a bathroom without high-fiving myself in the mirror. Because y'all look at yourself in the mirror and you immediately are like, God, ugh. Like I see my turkey waddle, I don't like it that much. But I've trained myself to look in the mirror, and before I leave, I high-five myself in the mirror. What am I doing? I am training my mind at a neuropathway level. And because of the touch of this, you're actually stimulating the neuropathway development even more. To look at that person in the mirror and cheer for that person. Do not critique that person. That's my morning routine. If you ever feel like you're losing momentum, if you ever feel like you're off track, if you ever feel lost or overwhelmed, go back to your morning routine. It's so important to keep to your routine because the key to changing your life is change your daily habits.
You keep those small, simple promises to yourself, and you'll start to build the muscle of simple discipline, and you can start to do it in other areas of your life.
Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you. So make sure you subscribe. Mwah.